Well, it is a sunny day for the Cajon High School girls basketball team. The Cowgirls will be playing for the state championship. Just moments ago, Cajon High School has defeated Mater Dei. Final score, 51-30 for the Division II Southern California Championship at the Pyramid at Long Beach State. So what does that mean? It means Cajon will take on the winner of Elk Grove and Sacramento next Saturday, 2 o'clock, from the finest gymnasium in all the land, Sleep Train Arena in Sacramento. That's what you've heard, right?
For a second, I thought you were talking about Madison Square Garden.
No.
Know that it's Sleep Train Arena, the outgoing Sleep Train Arena in the lovely city of Sacramento. And you know what they say about Cajon girls basketball, right?
What's that?
Big-time players make big-time plays. That's a huge win.
Right.
Kevin Kiernan, Mater Dei, they've been a power, I guess, the last 5 or 6 years. He was previously at Troy. He sent players to UConn, Pep. So that's a huge win for Cajon. Congratulations to Cajon High School.
Major victory. Mater Dei was the top seed. Cajon in uncharted waters. They've never made it this far, and to knock off a team like Mater Dei, that's huge. Congratulations to them. We are efforting live interviews from the Pyramid because our intern Ja Rule, which you know.
CSUN, proud Matador.
He is.
He works for the Inland Empire, but he's a proud Matador.
He is. He's a Cal State Northridge guy, but we're lucky enough to have him here on the Inland Sports Show. So Ja Rule, like I said, efforting some live interviews with head coach Mark Lehman, maybe some of the players. So stand by for that. We might have to jump into some live Cajon interviews at any point.
Do you think before the game, Pep, somebody in the Cajon locker room said, hey, let's win this for all the inland schools that didn't have a chance to be here? Because that's a huge win. You said Mater Dei. That's a huge win. That's a girls' basketball power.
It is. And, Cajon's had some really good girls' teams in the past. They just could not get past the Southern California semifinals.
Yes.
So I think, in a way, it's kind of like for all those teams that went to that point, but couldn't get it past it. And Mark Lehman has said this is probably his last year. So whatever happens, happens. But how cool would it be go out with a state title?
Like
Peyton Manning style,
like
right?
Like Costanza or Peyton Manning, go out on top.
That's right.
Ride it out in Sacramento. Get the breakfast burritos ready for the parents and for the boosters.
So if this all comes together, it's going to be a beautiful thing because we got live updates from the Pyramid. We're going to have live updates from Auto Club Speedway. David Zink on assignment. I mean, Inland Sports Show has no chill. We go hard every single week. We don't stop. We're all over the place. So if it comes together, it's going to be beautiful. If it doesn't, I apologize in advance.
I was a little disappointed because I have a bunch of great Dave Zink jokes. But I feel weird.
You can still tell him.
No. I only do it when he's here. I will only do it when he's here to defend himself because I respect the man.
Well, you might, but if you want me to tell him, I'll do that.
Yeah, we'll go on the break. I'll tell you all.
The show's brought to you by Adrenaline Athletic Training in Corona. Go to adrenalineathletic.com for more details on the travel ball teams, their training programs. Leonard Russell is the man. He's the director of performance. Former 1,000-yard running back in the National Football League. That's not too bad. Spoiled. Quick quality oil change in Riverside. They give you a flower in your car, a mint. If it's rainy, they put an umbrella over your head. They spoil you when you get your oil change. It's all in the name. And Remax Advantage.
It's Bill Navigato, right?
What's that?
Bill Navigato.
That's my boy, Bill
right.
Navigato. He's got a couple kids that play baseball.
See, that goes to show you the money he spends on you sponsoring this show works. Because I know who Bill Navigato is. I will drive 70 miles to get my oil changed because Pep Fernandez endorses Bill Navigato.
Do me a favor. Go in there and say, I'm here. I'm getting my oil change because I heard you on the Inland Sports Show.
I'm going to send the whole CSUN athletic staff and have them tell them that Pep Fernandez is why we're here.
Let's do it. That'll help us out.
Good.
Or maybe he'll open one up in the valley over there.
It's expensive up there. You can stay here.
Stay here.
Stay close to home.
And Remax Advantage, nobody sells more real estate. Nobody. 909-307-5665. Full service real estate along with escrow and loans. You can go to their website, remaxadvantage.me. Also serving Lake Arrowhead. So if you're wanting that little cabin, I know you've been thinking about that because all the cabin up in the mountains, you can do that too.
I just met a friend of mine I hadn't talked to in a long time. They have a cabin in Lake Arrowhead. They invited me out, as a matter of fact. True story.
See?
True story.
There you go. So if you want one of your own, a little side place, up in the mountains, to get away, Remax Advantage. Give them a call, okay?
Is that Bill Navigato too?
No, it's Joe Miller, actually.
Joe Miller.
Joe Miller. Also a big baseball and hockey fan. Angels, Ducks, loves local sports. He's a man of the people.
Aren't we all, though? Aren't we all?
We try to be.
Until we make enough money. So I'm hoping to be a man of the people till I can afford to not be a man of the people.
And not be
but that's just me. That's just me.
All right, we're going to talk a lot of high school basketball. We just told you the Cajon girls are headed to the state championship. More on that. We have some live interviews from the Pyramid. Coming up at noon, actually we should say 11 o'clock, so they've just tipped off because they moved all the games up 1 hour, and I'll tell you why. JW North playing for the Division II boys Southern California title.
Mike Marti.
Taking on Long Beach Poly.
I was going to say Dikembe Martin.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's going to UC Riverside, staying in his own backyard. He is a stud. He's trying to lead the Huskies to another win against Long Beach Poly, the team they beat for the CIF Southern Section Division I AA Championship 61-58 just a couple weeks ago. So they're trying to do it again. They had a big win actually at UCR, kind of a, I guess, foreshadowing.
It was Temecula Valley, right?
It was against Temecula Valley in that one. And,
I was telling all my UCR friends, hide your eyes, because that building is full. That building is full for that one. Maybe Dikembe, though, can bring some of that mojo when he plays for UCR.
Dikembe's a stud. He's going to be playing in that gym for a long time, and he had a huge game against Temecula Valley. If you're watching us live and Amplified, we just wrapped up some of those highlights. So we've got North playing for the Division II boys Southern California title. We've got Vista Murrieta taking on Brea Olinda for the Division I girls title. We also have Lakeside girls playing for a Southern California championship, and Rancho Christian boys in Division V. So we've got 5 local teams that could be playing in Sacramento next Thursday and or Saturday. So that's pretty impressive.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You're a 17-year-old kid who lives in the Inland Empire. The idea of a trip to Sacramento generally is not very exciting. In this context, though, Pep, I know it's kind of around your hometown. Very exciting. Very exciting.
Are you knocking Sacramento? Are you knocking Northern California?
A little bit.
I'll come
over
over
there. But is that really Northern California? Is that North State? What do they call that? Because you're from North State, right?
Here's the deal.
Okay.
You guys want the real deal?
Break down the nomenclature. See, this is why I like listening to the show, because it educates me.
For the stations I worked at, we called it the North State. You're right. But I'd always meet people that said, I'm from Northern California. And I'd say, me too. Where are you from? Palo Alto. Marin. Sorry.
No.
There's a huge chunk of the state above that. That's Northern California.
Not being from California, I would often mock people that said they were from the Bay Area when I first moved here. I'm like, what, you're ashamed of your city? But I realize now, Northern California first of all, California is a huge state.
It's huge.
And second of all, Northern California is a vast area. To go from Oakland to Sacramento, that's like an hour and a half drive on a good day.
You're absolutely right.
On a good day.
On the 80. And what's crazy is when I did TV up there, the TV market is gigantic. From the Oregon border down to Sacramento. It's just gigantic. There's just not a lot of people that live up there. That's the problem.
A colleague of mine just got a job in Eureka.
No.
Yeah.
I worked in Eureka.
What affiliate?
It was KAEF.
I think it's the same affiliate.
Doing TV up there?
TV.
I bet you it's KIEM.
Oh, is that what it is?
The Spirit of the North Coast.
Okay.
Channel 3.
Eureka, California. You've been all over. You're like Johnny Cash.
I've made the rounds.
Bakersfield, I know. You're a Bakersfield guy because the Roadrunners just made the NCAA. They gave Oklahoma all they could handle.
I was cheering so much for Cal State Bakersfield to knock off Oklahoma, but unfortunately I picked them, and like the rest of my bracket, it's like I took a stick of dynamite, put it on my bracket, and just blew the whole thing up.
So 10 double-digit seeds. So let me tell you my dilemma. I'd seen Hawaii, and I knew the Cal guard was injured, so I knew I was going to pick Hawaii. I knew something was going on with Yale, and I knew something was going on with Little Rock, because I'd seen Little Rock last year. But I'm like, listen, I can't pick all 3. I got to just pick 2. So I bit the bullet on Yale and Hawaii, and I left UALR alone. And what do you know? UALR wins. And, of course, how about Middle Tennessee State? That was huge.
I had Michigan State in the finals.
A lot of people did. See, I stayed away from that, because when too many people jump on something, that's why I was reticent about Hawaii, because everybody seemed to jump on Hawaii. But then once the kid was hurt from Cal, you knew that was going to happen.
UCR beat Hawaii. On the island, right?
In Hawaii, yes.
Just this March Madness, dude. You try to wrap your brain around it, you'll never figure it out. First time ever. I mean, listen, I'm not going to lie and say I'm good at picking teams. My brackets always suck, but this is the first time ever that my 2 teams in the finals, Michigan State and Arizona, gone after the first.
He gone.
Hey, you're here because you're the voice of UC Riverside baseball.
I want to break some news, and I want to send you a message today.
Yes, I'd love to hear it.
You mentioned Vista Murrieta, the girls' basketball team, having a fantastic year this year. They had a great year in football as well. You know, Ryan Lilly, your guy.
He's my boy.
He considers you his boy, too. He is one of the relievers out of that. It's going to be a stellar bullpen. If nothing else, UCR is going to have a great bullpen this year. Pep,
Yes.
I'm breaking some news here.
Nobody knows about this.
The mop is gone.
What?
Mop is gone.
The dirty mop.
Razor, mop, over.
Now, he was flaunting it. And he said he needed that little bit of extra on the mound. I mean, because Ryan Lilly's a real dirtbag, and I say that affectionately. But he said the mop was what put him over the hump. But no more mop.
He's still got the beard, but it's trimmed neatly. But it was the whole team. The whole team just kind of went razor. Even Ricky Delgado from Delta, and from up in the D-Rally area, he had the flowing locks gone.
Really?
So it's like a team. I had to run here.
Yeah.
So I talked to Percival. I talked to Doug Smith for a little bit. I talked to a couple of the players, and I was over here. So I didn't get the full depth explanation. I will provide it for you by next week, Pep.
I'm intrigued, though. I'm trying to swing by. I'd like to see this in person.
Razor stock has gone up in that little Blaine and Ruston area. So if you're a day trader, call Mike Ruth and get the numbers, because you want to invest in razors if you're a UCR baseball fan. But they won last night, Pep.
Who are they playing?
New Mexico State.
Yes,
they have a lot
Lobos.
New Mexico State has a lot of kids from the Inland Empire, and do you know why? Because their coach is Brian Green is from Temecula. He played at RCC before finishing his career in New Mexico State. So he's, there's a bunch of Rancho Cucamonga kids, Los Osos, a couple kids from RCC. So he's kind of mining Southern California to kind of help bring back the New Mexico State baseball program.
Interesting. It's a good place to look for talent right here in the IE.
It is.
I mean, one-stop shop. You come out here and, man, hit a couple of leagues, Southwestern League, the Baseline League, the Big 8 League.
And they do, because he has a lot of JC kids. He has 23 JC kids this year. And I think probably about at least 5 or 6 of them played high school ball out here in the Inland Empire, which I think is impressive.
All right, we're still waiting for some live updates from the Pyramid at Long Beach State.
Ja Rule, bring it.
Yeah, Ja Rule's doing it. Problem is, they're not on our time. They do their own thing. So they finish the game, they talk to the media, they pose with the trophy.
Don't get me started on the CIF, by the way. they should be focusing on, their first priority should be the Inland Sports Show.
Yes. Okay, that's number one. And then everything else just kind of falls into place.
ABC, CBS, ESPN, they can wait. Pep goes first.
That's how it should be, right?
I know you have 2 daughters, so I know you never go first. So maybe this,
I know.
one
Not
time.
in my own house do I go first.
This one time, let Pep go first.
Well, I know Ja Rule will come through, so we're waiting for him. As soon as the hotline bling, that's when we go to the hotline.
Is that some shade at David Zink? You say it's Ja Rule, so you know he's going to come through. That means Zink won't come through from the Talladega Speedway, wherever he's at? Fontana, right? He's in Fontana?
He's at Fontana, Auto Club Speedway. Once Zink comes through, I'll say he came through. I'll leave it at that.
He did come through. Did you guys talk about all the football coaching changes? I know that's maybe later in the show.
No. Actually, that's a good thing. I was going to bring this up in the first segment as we kind of, I don't want to say stalled, but we're just waiting to hear from Cajon after they won the Division II Southern California title. So Riverside Poly has a new head coach, Derek DeWitt. And here's my take on it. He could be a great guy. He might lead into a CIF title next season. I just don't know hardly anything about him, other than he's from Pomona originally, but he's been all over the place. He's not necessarily a local guy. So I'm just curious. I'm just wondering, because I love the great Dr. Rowe at Riverside Poly and their AD, Jim Vaughn. He's been so good to me. I'm just curious. I'm just more, wondering, what did this guy say or do in the interview that set him apart? Because I know, I won't name names, but I know who the finalists were for that job, and there's some pretty heavy hitters for local high school football.
Was it the guy who I think it was?
It probably is.
Okay. I mean, with the guy with the previous connection to Poly, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
We'll talk about it off the break. But here's the deal. So I'm just curious what he said. He could be a great coach, and I got nothing against the hire. I'm just curious, like, what did he say? Because he outperformed in the interviews these 3 other guys that I know of who are well-known local high school football coaches who wanted the Riverside Poly job. So I'm just curious how that went down.
It's a good question.
And
who made? And you have to educate me here.
Sure.
How is the decision made? Is it strictly a principal decision? Do they convene a committee? Are parents involved? I'm just curious. Like a school like Poly, how does that happen?
The schools do it, and then they have to go to the district. The district has to approve it.
I see.
So I don't know all the details. Actually, I know more than what I'm letting on here, because at Miller High School, they hired a coach. He was on the job for 5 weeks, and then they let him go. And I got the backstory, which I can't burn bridges. I can't.
You certainly can burn it. Pep, maybe you're not.
But here's the deal. The school said, okay, here's our guy. And then the district's like, nah, that's not how it's going to be. We don't want that guy. after he's been on the job for 5 weeks.
That's cold.
Yeah.
That's cold.
So,
that's some like Julia Roberts Runaway Bride stuff.
But here's the deal with high school football, and it's not just the inland area, the way this works. It's the worst kept secret because I've got connections, Zink has connections, all these high school football coaches, they know us, they have our cell.
And they love to talk, don't they?
They do.
We were talking before, Pep and I were talking before we were on the air. I was doing a women's basketball game, and I bumped into your friend and ours, Matt Logan, head coach of Corona Centennial. And, you know, I want to be polite. I know the coach a little bit. I don't know him as well as you and Zink know him. But he probably sat there with me for 30 or 40 minutes just rapping, just two guys talking about basketball, about football, about his daughter, about his players. It was great.
Well, the coaching fraternity is very small. They all know each other. They all talk. It's maybe to the general public, people don't know, but everybody else knows. Like, oh, I know who interviewed for that job. I can tell you who the finalists are. So, anyways, congratulations to Derek DeWitt. I hope Riverside Poly does really great with him. I'm just curious what he did in the interview.
And then Opalani Vaipulu, obviously, he is now taking a job at Hemet High School.
Correct.
Full-time. I know he was a part-time guy at Poly, so now he's got a teaching, and he's going to be an assistant coach at Hemet. And he was always great to me, covering the high school football scene last year. So I wish him nothing but the best. And
the Roosevelt job also open as we break here in the first segment.
I saw that. Like, is Tony coaching somewhere else? He's a
Tony
guy.
Brill stepped down. And he's spending more time with the family, which is actually true in this case. And I've heard of 2 or 3 different coaches who were offered the job, wanted the job, were finalists for the job, still no coach in place. And we're getting into the spring. I mean, spring football's ramping up. And once again, I need like an all-access show, maybe for like my inner circle, because I heard of a name, and I'm not going to say the name, but I heard he was offered the job. So that's all I'm going to say. It could be in the works. It could happen real soon. So, anyways. All right, so that's our high school football chatter. Still waiting for the live updates from the Pyramid Long Beach State, where Cajon, the girls basketball team, has won the Southern California Division II championship. Will go to Sacramento next weekend to play for the D2 state title. Also a live update from Auto Club Speedway. The great David Zink. No shade. All good stuff. All positive. Happy place right here on the Inland Sports Show. Fox Sports Radio, 1350 AM.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
That we offer here, the performance training is definitely specific to what they need. A lot of people actually come in here for the performance training, and also we have our travel ball program with our softball and baseball teams. Our performance training definitely to get quicker, stronger, faster.
Focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
Every sport that we offer here, the performance training.
David Zink is the only one left because he always made money for his sponsors. Remember that.
It's all brought to you by Adrenaline.
There you go. See, there you go.
Boy.
You and Zink got to do that. There's a nice little spot you can do for Bill Navigado.
Your boy, Bill. And don't forget our good friend Joe Miller and Leonard Russell.
Joe Miller and Leonard Russell from Adrenaline Athletic.
Okay, here's my dilemma, and I'm going to share this. I'm going to pull the curtains back so everybody knows what's going on.
Fourth wall, Letterman style.
So intern Ja Rule is at the Pyramid. The North boys have just tipped off, and he's like, I'm shooting them. I can't find the Cajon coach. What should I do? And I'm telling him, go find the Cajon coach. Come back to North. Is that the right call?
Can I just be a jerk right now?
Yeah, do it.
Intern Angel wouldn't have to ask that question.
Whoa.
I'm kidding. You know I love Ja Rule. That's my guy. Yeah, it's interesting because there's a little teaching moment. So you just got to go get the info you need to get. I mean, listen, if a great play happens in the first quarter, so be it. Go get that post-game interview.
I'm with you.
And hope the game's close in the second half.
It will be. I mean, they were 61-58 the first time they met Long Beach Poly for the section title. It's going to be close in the second half. Really, that's all we really need is the second half.
And you can appreciate this because you're a TV guy. You peel the page back.
Yeah.
Like when I cut highlights, you get one from early in the game just to show that you're watching.
Yeah.
And the rest of them basically are the fourth quarter,
when
right?
the game was decided.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
You're right on. You're spot on with that.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to the Inland Sports Show. I'm Pep Fernandez. That's Ghazal Hassan, the voice of UC Riverside Baseball right here on Fox Sports 1350. 1250, right?
12:50 first pitch, and then tomorrow 11:50. I'm not worried about tomorrow because you know who's our engineer tomorrow?
This guy right here?
This man sitting right here. I'm not
Regulate.
worried about him. Actually, you know what? Everybody here is really good. We had Ruby G yesterday. We got Jasmine today. We got Greg H tomorrow.
Oh, you got me today.
Oh, you got you today as well? No Jasmine today?
No Jasmine.
I'm out of the bullpen. Here he comes.
Oh, man.
Get him
All right.
loose.
How many pitches you good for today? About 40. Can I get 45 pitches out of
You
you?
get 70.
So, all right. So 45 to 70. That's a good little
keep
thing.
me in
But
there.
no, obviously UCR baseball and basketball both home here. Fox Sports 1350 and News Talk 1440. I love when we're on the same day as you, Pep. I just love the synergy between the Inland Sports Show and the UCR baseball, the Highlanders Baseball Network.
Match made in heaven.
Love it, baby. Well, because there's all these local guys now. I mean, not that there haven't been in the past, but now there are all these guys who you've covered over the last 4 or 5 years playing for UC Riverside. Baseball, basketball, women's basketball, soccer, whatever. So it's like you're part of the team. You still got, did they give you a scarf or something, right? Didn't the soccer team give you like a t-shirt or something?
I got a shirt, yeah. And a hat, too.
Yeah.
So I love doing UCR stuff, and plus they're right down the road, so that doesn't
And
hurt
at
you.
some point, and I said this off the air, I'm gonna try to put some pressure on you.
Yes.
Get Brittany Crane on the show. She's delightful, and plus she's a pretty damn good basketball player. 2-time Big West Player of the Year.
You want an update from the Pyramid?
Let's get it.
We've got head coach Mark Lehman, so
Awesome.
I think we're going to go there right now. Let's go to the spoiled, quick quality oil change celebrity hotline, and I'm going to assume here for the moment it's Cajon head basketball coach Mark Lehman. Coach, is that you?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. We have Javier down at the Pyramid with you guys, and he shot video and pictures, and he just brought us the great news that you guys are headed to the state finals. What's it like right now?
Yeah, well, I'm so happy. I'm so pleased with our players. They executed the game plan perfectly, and our seniors really stepped up, and it was an amazing performance. We just totally shut down Mater Day.
Now, you're in uncharted waters right now. We talked about this after the semifinal victory, that you've never had a team reach this point. Now you go to Sacramento next weekend. Is it same game plan? I mean, obviously, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah, I don't know what they do offensively or who even won. I'm going to have to watch that on a streamline and figure it out. But today, we were trying to stop Mater Dei from getting the ball inside, and they only got it inside a couple times a quarter, if that. And it was just an amazing defensive display. They couldn't find a hole in our defense. They had to settle for shooting threes.
Yeah, I heard on or watching some of the social media tweets and whatnot that Mater Dei had some size, and they were the top seed. And for the game, to be not even really that close, I mean, you chalk it up to that defense, huh?
Oh, yes. And, our loyal fans, they really thought we were going to win. And, there's a lot of people that didn't. But our girls showed them that they could play fundamental position basketball along with their athleticism. They just did a fine job tonight. It was super.
So you will play the winner of Sacramento and Elk Grove. In fact, they might be going final right now. Have you heard who's won that game yet, or have you checked?
I don't know, but we played Sacramento in an NCAA viewing tournament over at Chaffee College, like in October, and so that was a good game that we actually won, I believe. And so we know about Sacramento, and so it'll be interesting to watch, see who won, and watch it on the streamline and see what we're up against.
We're talking with Mark Lehman, the head basketball coach of the Cajon girls team. They have won the Division II Southern California title. Coach, here's an update for you. After 3 quarters, Elk Grove was leading Sacramento 33-32. So it's they'll be playing the 4th quarter right about now. So we'll keep you updated here live on the air on the Inland Sports Show. But one final question before we let you go. How cool is it to win that game and pose with your team? I'm sure you guys had a plaque for winning the SoCal title, but still knowing that the season lives on for another week and you get to play one more time for the state championship.
Yeah, I got to give props to my guards, Kyla Turner and Tyra Turner, and my big people, Desiree Embry, that had her hands full blocking out a big all night, and Kayla Washington came up with big plays. The same with Taylor Goldsberry, his super performance. They played the whole game, and our bench was ready, but I have to give credit to our bench that practiced real hard to make sure that our seniors are ready to play ball.
Coach, you're the best. Congratulations and best of luck next Saturday in Sacramento as you will be playing for the Division II State Championship.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the coverage.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right.
That's Mark Lehman, head basketball coach at Cajon High School, breaking it down. Interesting, they played Sacramento in that October kind of showcase at Chaffee.
Great interview, Pep. You forgot one thing.
What's that?
You got to tell him, hey, if you need to know where to get breakfast burritos in Sacramento,
I'm
call
your
Matt
guy.
Logan. Call Matt Logan.
Yeah.
He did that whole thing before, but big props to Ja Rule for securing that interview. See, we do a little instruction, a little teaching moment by me and Pep, and he delivers.
I had similar moments. I was thinking about this.
Because you're like Bill Walsh.
Am I?
And I'm like Parcells. Yeah. Like, you're like, the cerebral guy. You're like, hey, Ja Rule, here's what you do. I'm just like, hey, you're horrible until you prove otherwise. That's kind of the way we work, right? I had to throw Intern Angel in his face.
You did. And he stepped, but
he stepped up.
He stepped up.
He's like Lawrence Taylor. He stepped up. Maybe not like Lawrence Taylor, but he stepped up.
All right, so David Zink should be calling any moment. I'm going to take you down a quick walk down memory lane.
Okay.
So I was working for the NBC in Chico covering a high school softball game. It was Foothill against Shasta, 2 rivals. After about, I think, 18 innings, I left. I went back to the station to cut highlights for the 6 o'clock news, because it's like a 3 o'clock game or whatnot. And the sports director told me, dude, why did you leave? You got to stay there and see who's going to win that game. So, kind of like what Ja just did right here. It's a learning experience, right? I didn't know at the time. I was like, do I stay? Do I go?
In fairness, now you would be fine, right?
Yeah.
Because now you can be at the game and editing on your laptop
Yes.
while you're watching the game. You couldn't do that back then.
No. We barely had cell phones. We used the two-way pager thing,
because the last TV. I mean, I haven't worked in TV like you did for about 5 or 6 years. We still had the tape to tape.
Oh yeah, that's how I started.
Believe it or not.
Back in my days in Eureka, we had the 3/4 tape. Do you know what those are?
Yeah, I remember
They're
that.
gigantic videotapes. I'm old. So anyways, so that was head coach Mark Lehman. We're waiting for David Zink live update from Auto Club Speedway. We should remind everyone that the Inland Sports All-Star Basketball game is coming up. It's scheduled for April 15th at Norte Vista High School. The top seniors in Riverside and San Bernardino County will be in this game. I already saw the rosters. It's going to be awesome. Cal Baptist head coach Rick Croy is going to come speak to the guys on practice the Thursday night before. It's going to be awesome. Last year was a great game. It was a game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer. There's tons of dunks. You couldn't ask for a better game. So, April 15th, Norte Vista High School. It's the Inland Sports All-Star Basketball game. Follow us on Twitter at Inland_Sports for exclusive details.
You guys and Jeff Gorham put that together?
It's more, Jeff Gorham does the heavy lifting. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. But hey, he thought enough of you to put your guy's name on it.
He's like, I want to do an all-star basketball game. Will you guys be a part of it? We said yes, definitely. So we do a live practice. We show it live. Then we do the game live, and we put our name on it. So
it's
great.
Fun.
It's a cool deal. We had a great time last year. It was a great game, and the kids enjoyed it. We had all the big names like Cedric Bearfield from Centennial played in, so it was fun. So we got the North guys, we got the Centennial guys again. So it's going to be a great game. It's April 15th at Norte Vista High School. And speaking of all-star games, as Zink's 1 minute late, but who's counting, right? I mean, are you clock watching?
Hate it or love it, the underdog's on top. That's all I got to say. It's all, love it or hate it, right?
Are you strong in the rap game?
In 2005, there was a time I could spit the first 5 tracks from this record from memory. No longer.
Wow.
But that's about 10 years ago when my brain wasn't all much.
Yeah. If you're into All-Stars, we talked about the All-Star game. The high school soccer All-Star game was last night. San Bernardino County taking on Riverside County. 3-1 the final score as Riverside County wins the All-Star game. It was fun. It was at Arlington High School. Great crowd. We had a lot of people watching it. We did it live on the Inland Sports Channel. So if you watched it on the Inland Sports Channel, we appreciate that. But right now, we are going to go to the Adrenaline Athletic Training Celebrity Hotline. And I use celebrity very loosely because it's the great David Zink. Zink, what's cracking? Hey, Zink, are you there?
I'm here.
Dude, so you're at Auto Club Speedway. Is it the, listen, I know it's not the Nationwide. What is it called now? Is it the Xfinity? What's the series today?
It's called the, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, it's called the Xfinity, Xfinity series. It's the 300, Xfinity Series 300.
We got you. Hey, Zink, we can hear you just fine. So maybe it's really loud on your end, but we got you just fine. So you've been out there for a couple days straight, qualifying, practice. Give us something interesting behind the scenes. What's going on at Fontana?
What's really interesting is the difference between the IndyCar race and the NASCAR race here, because the IndyCar race always looks like a ghost town. When NASCAR comes there, they load it up, man. I'm telling you, it's wall-to-wall people. And this is the undercard for tomorrow's big race. So, I mean, if you're really looking at this, it's fantastic to see the inland community coming out, and actually Southern California coming out to check out NASCAR this weekend.
I got Kevin Harvick tomorrow in the Cup race. Is that good? Is that a good pick?
What's that?
I got Kevin Harvick winning the Cup race tomorrow. Is that a pretty good pick?
I mean, he's as good as any. Yesterday in qualifying, everybody was putting up big times. I mean, it's a fast track, a bumpy fast track with a lot of lanes to fly in. Harvick actually was coming across the finish line with the qualifying almost ended, and Austin Dillon actually came in from behind. It took a faster time right out from under him and ended up getting the pole. So it's anybody's race, man. There's a lot of good young talent here. There's the regular guys like your boy Harvick. You got Johnson. You got all these guys. Right now, actually, the Sprint Cup guys are in their last practice session, I think today before the race. And that's why it's so loud here. They're ripping around the track. But I'll tell you what, man, it is a busy place.
With the track times being fast, Mr. Zink, is your bracket still intact?
Oh, my bracket's totally intact.
Good.
I picked all the upsets. Actually, I didn't even do a bracket, Cap. I'm over that, man.
Well, I meant your Xfinity bracket. Who cares about that other thing? I'm talking about the Xfinity Fontana bracket.
Oh, the Fontana bracket.
Hey, by the way, that's Ghazal Hassan, the voice of UC Riverside Baseball on Fox Sports 1350. He's joining us in studio today.
Hey, how's it going, Hassan?
David, I was told you weren't here. I was disappointed because I was telling Pep I had a bunch of great zinc jokes, but I can't tell them if you're not in the room. It's not as fun. But I hope you're enjoying yourself. How's the crowd out there? Has this been pretty consistent?
It's huge, man. I tell you, all the way from Fernandez and the haulers coming in on Thursday night. Since the day I've been out here for a couple days, it's just wall to wall on NASCAR, man. In fact, I think I'm going to go out after this, and I'm thinking about writing a column for Sunday's paper about see what all these NASCAR fans in Southern California think of Brian France and George Donald Trump. See if I can get a nice story out of that, because I think it's interesting. You kind of have a little bit of I think you have a Trump audience here, and I'm kind of curious to see if I'm accurate with that.
Look at that. Zink digging deep.
Political Zink. I didn't realize he had that.
It's easy to say who won the race. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
Zink digs deep.
I mean, I knew that Zink was multi-dimensional. I didn't realize he had quite this many dimensions.
Well, a lot of layers to him.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping I can find somebody who's going to say, I didn't like the choice of France going to Trump, maybe keep his mouth shut, whatever. I'm looking for some opinions.
Yeah, I mean, for
throw
sure.
it out there. I did a story on Daniel Suarez in today's paper. Nice young Mexican kid. He's really jumping up the ladder here. He's in the Xfinity Series on the pole today. And I don't think it'll be very long before he's challenging the top drivers in the Sprint Cup Series.
Well, Zink, live it up at the races. We appreciate the live update. Just so you know, Ja Rule is doing a fantastic job down at the Pyramid this morning. Live updates, pictures, video. You'd be very, very proud.
I'll do that. Hey, by the way, is there anything you want me to tell Harvick? He walked through the room, you know, when the media, the Catholic Media Center to do interviews. I could give him a little message from you, Pep.
Yeah, could you? Hey, Pep Fernandez, the guy who had the puka shell necklace on a long time ago and did a live interview at Mesa Marin. He says, "What's up?" True story. Puka shell necklace. I wish I could take it back, but I can't.
No, puka shells was a bad choice, but I'll find out.
The great David Zink, brother. We appreciate the time. Enjoy the races.
Hey guys, have a great time on the show. I'll talk to you next time.
All right, that's David Zink checking in to the Inland Sports Show from Auto Club Speedway. I'm impressed. Doing his job, digging deep, investigating.
You knew that's a huge event out here, and it's great to have him kind of getting in there, the pulse of the community. This is what you guys do.
He loves motorsports. He's a gearhead. I mean, he loves that
stuff. Are you a big motorsports guy, Pat?
I was. I mean, when I was in Bakersfield for 8 years, we were heavy on NASCAR. I mean, I interviewed a lot of NASCAR guys. I mean, I knew like every single week where the race was, what the point standings were, because we covered it. We covered it hard.
See, and that he brought up a couple of great things. That's the great thing. Like I equate it to myself, you know, covering like non-traditional sports. Like when I started covering women's basketball and doing volleyball and gymnastics and stuff like that. We talk about the football community. There's a community in all those things. And the cool thing for an event like this is, of course, everybody knows the big stars, but it's those young guys that maybe are doing, you know, their first big event. Guys he was mentioning, some of the local guys maybe who have a connection. That's what the intriguing part, like for guys like you and me, is that you see this happen and then you kind of move forward. College baseball is very similar to that as well.
I'll say this, NASCAR was fun to cover because it was more like a soap opera, kind of like WWE.
Mm-hmm.
There's all these, I mean, the racing's fun, but there's all these storylines in the garage, like he doesn't like him and he's going to switch teams and a lot of drama. A lot of drama in the pits.
NWO versus Degeneration X.
Yeah. Triple H. Here we go. You know what we're talking about? Great. He's a wrestling guy.
I'm an old Jake the Snake guy going way back when I was a kid. Loved Jake the Snake Roberts and Piper and then that whole generation.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good too.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Some would say that was the golden age of wrestling right there.
Yeah, I kind of tapped it because my cousins are really into it too. They're younger than I. They're like all in their 20s. So they were the big. Degeneration X was their thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Before we wrap up this segment, because I know you got to go prepare. You're going to have an excellent call from UC.
I mean, actually, this is interesting. Preparation done. It's just now. It's the routine stuff. You know how baseball players. They hit.
What is the
take
routine
infield.
What is your routine? Do you gargle? Do you do some stretching? Do you eat a Butterfinger? Like what's the Gazal prep?
So 1 o'clock first pitch today. Now I altered the schedule a little bit because I knew I was coming on with you. So normally I'll get there, set up the gear because all good radio guys set up their own gear.
You don't want to be rushed.
Today, because it was a morning game and I hadn't eaten, I had a bagel with lox.
Okay.
And then I have my 2 things of water. Then, you walk down and you kind of wrap it. That's when I saw Lily. You walk down the field, kind of see where the temperature is. You take the temperature of the team, who's pitching. And sometimes the pitcher sits in the dugout. Sometimes the pitcher doesn't. You see the guys warm up. Talk to all the assistant coaches because they'll generally give you more than the head coach because they have the little, like you said, the little side stories.
Sure.
This guy's oblique's a little bit tight. This guy's got a little bit tight in his hammy, but they're going to go today. If they can't go, he's who's going to pitch. Blah blah blah. And then so today, normally I'll talk with Troy Percival midway through batting practice, but today he had a recruit. I was going to do an early interview, but he had a recruit he was talking to, I think from a JC recruit, and then I talked to him before BP to get the pregame interview out of the way. We're going to play, obviously, as part of the Highlanders pregame show here on Fox Sports 1350, the home of the Highlanders. And then, it's all the press box stuff. You make sure all the cables and connections are working. You get the lineups, you write them in the card, you talk to the other team. There's 2 teams playing, so you want to have as much information on both teams as possible. This is a special weekend for me because no radio for New Mexico State. Oh. So I'm the only game in town.
You are the voice.
And I got some nice compliments from the New Mexico State people yesterday about, you knew about our team. I'm like, well, that's kind of the 50% of the battle, right?
That's right.
I'm going to get my team right by accident. And then you do a little preparation. Here's a little interesting tidbit. You're like a sports history guy, right?
I dabble.
You know who Don Haskins is, right?
Yeah.
He was the head coach in 1966, Texas Western. They were the first team playing 5 African-American players to win the NCAA championship. His grandson plays baseball for New Mexico State. He was the DH yesterday. So these are the little stories you fold in. And I told you off the air, Brian Green, who's the head coach of New Mexico State from Temecula. I think he played at Vista.
Did you really?
Yeah, he played at Vista. So, that's the whole thing. You have all these stories to spin in, and they got a bunch of Southern California guys. The cheers for New Mexico State last night were almost as loud as the cheers for UCR because there's so many
local families coming out watching.
Los Osos, Rancho Cucamonga, RCC, a number of Southern California kids from New Mexico State. And why not? He's from Temecula. He was an assistant coach at UCLA. He knows the talents around here.
Gazal, have a great call. You always do.
Always fun to be up here. Greg, great to see you again. Props to Ja Rule, props to Dave Zink. And I got to shout out my man, Intern Angel. We're going to have lunch in LA at some point. But he is so engrossed in the USC life, he has no time,
Some would say it was the preparation we did here. It was the springboard, too.
No, hey, I told him,
we're trying to take credit.
You played a role in his progress. And, he's still got a way to go, but I love that he's approaching it with passion. So.
All right, when we come back, we got to get out of here. Ja Rule, live update from the Pyramid, plus a little more NFL and maybe a little Major League Baseball talk where we wrap things up. Ghazal Hassan has the call. New Mexico, UCR, 1250, right here on Fox Sports.
1250 pregame. A pleasure as always to hang with you, Pap. I'm really humble that you've all chosen to take me into this great frat party that you have every Saturday morning. Although you're a bit more sophisticated than a frat party.
It gets a little sideways, but it's okay.
Does your wife listen?
Once in a while.
Absolutely not a frat party, Mrs. Pap.
Yeah. Listen, she knows me. She knows I'm a stick in the mud. We'll be right back on the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports Radio, 1350 AM.
It's definitely specific to what they need. A lot of people actually come in here for the performance training, and also we have our travel ball program with our softball and baseball teams. Our performance training definitely to get quicker, stronger, faster.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. Push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
here, the performance training is definitely specific to what they need. A lot of people actually come in here for the performance training, and also we have our travel ball program with our softball and baseball teams. Our performance training definitely to get quicker, stronger, faster.
Sports heard right here on Fox Sports Radio 1350 and foxsportsradio1350.com. Now here's more with Pep on the Inland Sports Show.
Welcome back to the one and only Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports Radio 1350 AM. A lot of high school hoop talk. We talk high school football. Hey, I want to give a shout out to the UC Riverside women's basketball team. A great season. They reached the women's NIT, but they lost in the first round to Gonzaga, so they finished 23-9, but still a spectacular season and a great career for Brittany Crane. Ghazal Hassan here, the voice of UCR baseball, talking about her, saying how great she is, and she's from JW North, so we'll have to get her on the show soon. But she had a fantastic career. The all-time leading scorer in UC Riverside history for the Highlanders season did come to an end, losing to Gonzaga, first round of the WNIT. Speaking of girls hoops, he just gave you live updates from Cajon as the Cowgirls are going to the Division II state championship game. It's intern Ja Rule, Javier Cabrera. Ja, how's it going down at the Pyramid?
It's going really exciting over here. It's going really exciting over here. I mean, it's a lot of fun stuff that's happening over here.
So, Cajon won. How much did they celebrate, and how much were they still, saying, hey, we've got some unfinished business because they want to win the state title? So they celebrate much, or was it more like business as usual?
Yeah, it seems like it was like business as usual. I mean, they gave high fives and hugs at the end of the game, but they didn't have much time to celebrate because, the people facilitating this tournament or the event here today, they were rushing them off the court so that the next group of teams could come out and start practicing or warming up.
Did you get some good video, some good interviews?
I have not got interviews, but I did get, obviously photos and video.
All right, well, if you see Kayla Washington or one of the Turner twins hanging around, drop what you're doing. We love North, but drop what you're doing. Get an interview. But right now, is North at the half?
Yeah, North is up 26-23 right now at the half.
So North, it's kind of funny. You saw them. They beat Long Beach Poly 61-58 for the Division I AA championship for the section title. Now they meet them for the Southern California title again. Is it pretty much the same ball game? It's low scoring and it's close, right?
Well, it seems like it's low scoring only because the Huskies are not making their shots. They're 10 for 33 for field goal range. Takeme Martins 0 for 8. Christian Grace pretty much carrying the team with 18 points, shooting 8 for 11 right now.
So, Ja, are they feeding you at the Pyramid? Are they giving you some food?
I missed the breakfast. They ran out of breakfast, so I have to wait until 12:45 for lunch.
Oh my goodness! Because you're a hard worker.
I've been working since I got here because the game started at 9.
Listen,
first one.
Ja's been working hard all week. Because remember, we did the Cajon girls semifinal game live on, was it Wednesday?
I think it was Tuesday.
Tuesday. We did it live on Tuesday. We did the high school soccer game, all-star game, live last night, which you worked. And now that you're at the Pyramid this morning, Ja, you are the man.
Oh, appreciate it.
But seriously, drop whatever you're doing and find the Turner twins and Kayla Washington.
Okay, I'll go. I see them right here. I'm looking at them right now. They're sitting on the stand, obviously watching the North game.
Just a quick soundbite, just 30 seconds. This is how you're hearing me produce live on the air right now. Quick soundbite, get your food, and then the second half of North. Does that sound like a plan?
Gotcha.
All right, Ja, you're the man. That's Ja Rule, Javier Cabrera, live on the Inland Sports Show from the Pyramid at Long Beach State. Keep up the great work, Ja.
Thanks. See ya.
All right, see you, Ja. So that was Ja Rule breaking it down live from the Pyramid at Long Beach State. All right, shifting gears because we're running out of time. There's so much stuff I wanted to get to. It's a busy time of the year as we have this crossover from basketball into the spring sports. So last weekend I wasn't here, and you guys poked some fun at me. That's fine. I can laugh at myself. That's all good. So I was at spring training, and Friday was pretty awesome. Saw Austin Barnes hit a home run. You guys played the sound here on the show. And we got to meet Vic the Break from Fox Sports Radio. That was awesome as well. And then that night, I got to go to the home of Aaron Brooks, star pitcher for the Chicago Cubs from Cajon High School. He bought a new house in Arizona. We got invited over. We hung out. It was awesome. And I had a chance to talk to Aaron about the fact that he's playing for the Cubs. And a lot of people are picking the Cubs to win the World Series. I mean, this isn't your mom's Cubs. I mean, these Cubs are good, and they're being picked to win the World Series. And now Aaron Brooks is fighting for a spot, maybe in the starting rotation, definitely out of the bullpen, because they got some really good starting pitchers, veteran guys, who are really going to be hard to dethrone to get a spot in the starting five. But we're going to hear a quick soundbite from Aaron Brooks talking about joining the Chicago Cubs. He was traded to the Cubs from the Oakland A's, but this could be a good thing for the former Cajon Cowboy.
Yeah, I mean, for sure joining the club, you know, they have numerous...
Yeah, I mean, for sure joining the club, you know, they have numerous, you know, great veteran guys that are, you know, good to learn from, and just the fact of, you know, going over there with a hungry mentality of, you know, wanting to win a World Series and wanting to do our best. It really fits in with my mentality and where I'm at, and I think it'll be good.
Talking about playing for the Chicago Cubs and all that talent there, and World Series, you know, prediction that they might go all the way this year. It could be the first time in more than 100 years, so we'll see if they can get the job done, but it's going to be tough for Aaron Brooks and the Chicago Cubs. A lot of good talent. There's a lot of good teams in their own division with the Pirates and the Cardinals, so we'll see if Aaron Brooks and the Cubs can emerge out of the Central Division, because it will be very tough, and he's just trying to get a starting spot or something from out of the bullpen at least. So we'll see if he can get that done. All right, to the NFL real quick, because we've only got about 2 or 3 minutes now. We had a chance to talk to Shareece Wright from Colton High School. Greg, this is for you. Shareece Wright recently signed with the Baltimore Ravens, and he's one of several guys to come out of Colton High School and make it to the National Football League. Jimmy Smith, one of them.
Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, man, there's so many. Jimmy Smith just had a ceremony this week. Nat Berhe is safety for the New York Giants. Alan Bradford, he's a free agent linebacker right now. So we're going to hear from Shareece, Nat, and Alan, an exclusive Inland Sports interview, him talking about re-signing with Baltimore, but also the fact that, man, there's a lot of NFL guys coming out of Colton High School. So here's Shareece Wright and Nat Berhe and Alan Bradford.
It's good. It's a blessing. You know, I'm just happy to have a little... It's good. It's a blessing. You know, I'm just happy to have a little security and, you know, have a place I can call home for the next 3 years of my career. So it's exciting. I mean, I'm thankful. I'm thankful and honored that they feel that way about me, and that I was able to go out there and do that, and get them to feel that way about me. It's kind of one of those things where hard work pays off, and when you put in the work and the time, you know, it'll always pay off. Another blessing and honor that, you know, us growing up as kids and playing football, just talking about possibly being on the same team, and for it to happen and for us to be both playing corner and be on defense, we couldn't ask for anything more than that.
It's a rich history, believe it or not. I mean, we got a lot of guys, you know, from that era that are now playing in the National Football League. So I think that's huge. I mean, that says a lot about the coaching. It says a lot about the community. It says a lot about, you know, the school itself. I'm happy, man. I'm so happy for him. He deserves it. You know, where he's come from to now where he's at now. I mean, you sit back and look at a guy like that, and you can't help but be motivated. So I'm just nothing but glad for the guy. As far as him and Jimmy Smith, you know, I think that's going to be a great combination. You know, those two guys, and we do play them this year. You know, the Giants do play the Ravens, so I'm definitely going to be, you know, it's going to be a fun time. You know,
it was me, Shareece, and Jimmy, and our high school games used to be sold out every Friday. They came to see us, and it was great, man. It was actually 10 years ago, so it's just, man, time fly. But man, we built something at Colton that I think now we probably got like 10 to 9 players out. But at first it was just me, Shareece, and Jimmy was the first ones to do it. So, and I'm just loving it, man. It's, you know, it's great to see all the coaches, like head coach, linebacker coach, offensive coordinator, and the people that used to be at our games every Friday cheering our names, and supported us at USC, supported us, you know, regardless of whatever we did, they supported us. So, and it's just great to see.
Man, Colton High School just pumping out the NFL guys. They had a stretch there in the last decade or so where so many guys went on the NFL. We give Centennial a lot of love and for good reason. Quick shout out here, we're running out of time. Citrus Valley High School, thank you for the softball shirt. We'll have highlights of them against Colton. Greg, that's for you. Colton and Citrus Valley, we'll have that on the next Sports Weekly IEMG TV show. That's coming up next week. I thank our sponsors, Adrenaline Athletic Training in Corona, Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change, and Remax Advantage. Nobody sells more real estate. I'm Pep Fernandez. Go to the Inland Sports YouTube channel for highlights from the SoCal Finals for basketball, Cajon, North, and Vista Marietta. See you next Saturday on the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports Radio, 1350 AM.